going into 2022, those are my top 3 spots. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. First and foremost, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. It is now 2022, so we get a new year of trading starting this Monday. So in today's video, what I want to do is take a look at Bitcoin and what I'm expecting in the short term and the long term. I'm going to go through the charts of my 3 largest positions because they're all acting a little bit differently right now, so I think it's an interesting contrast. Let's take a look at the big board of Bitcoin miners. This is how they finished Friday, December 31st. So obviously now it's the weekend and we'll start trading again on Monday. So you can see this board is mostly red. Friday was a down day. So pretty much all red candles from the open on Monday until about 2 o'clock. We were down in a straight line. We did bottom out at around 2 o'clock and have a little bit of a rally for the last couple hours. So these things mostly finished off of their lows, but you can see basically a red day. That was really the only green on the board. Hive was break even on the day, and then everything else was red, and some of these things were 3 or 4 or 5% red on Friday. So that was the reaction that the miners had. So let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. I'm going to zoom into the 1-hour candles here and take a look at the last few days. On Monday of this week, we tested a pretty strong line of resistance at 52,000 and failed. And so from Monday to Friday, we went all the way from this line of resistance all the way down to test our strongest line of support. So all in all, not a good final week of the year for Bitcoin. However, having said that, this goes back about 2.5 or 3 weeks. This starts on December 13th, where we test this line of support. From December 13th until now, January 1st, this is held. We tested this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then went a long time without getting anywhere near it. So cascading from here down to here, watching this hold was very encouraging to me. I had called this the bottom several times. I was personally relieved to see it hold and on fairly reasonable volume, so I'm feeling like that bottom has held and we're moving back up. However, that does not mean we're necessarily in a massive bull run immediately. Really, for almost the entire month of December since the flash crash, we have been trading between a strong line of support at around 45,600 and a strong line of resistance at around 52,000. We've tested the top twice. We've tested the bottom now 5 times. So I don't want to take too much away from the trading over the last day. The volume is pretty low. Today obviously is a holiday. However, you'll see this volume here was decent when we bounced off of the bottom. So I do think there's kind of a buy wall here at around 45,600 or 45,700 that seems to be holding up very strong. Again, I remain bullish on Bitcoin in the long term and reasonably speaking in the short term. However, the month of December was awful. I think we can all agree on that. So I'm looking for a much healthier month in January. Now, the way things have been, until we get outside of this range, I don't feel comfortable making a call either way because we seem to be bouncing between those 2 lines. This was just 4 days from the top of this trading range all the way to the bottom. So in my mind, we're stuck in this range until we can get out of it. I'm hoping this line of support holds. It's held 5 times now. That's very encouraging. Options expired on Friday. I know everybody was expecting that to be a catalyst for some big upward momentum, but I did mention on my Thursday daily update, one of the things that's been happening to traders recently is when all of the Bitcoin traders seem to have a consensus about what's about to happen in the very short term, the big money seems to have zeroed in on that, and they are forcing pressure in whatever is the opposite direction of what the retail traders have gained consensus on. So I'm going to be careful of that all of 2022. When all the retail investors are saying the same thing, I will be keeping in my mind that sets up the potential for people to get over leveraged in either direction, depending on what the sentiment is. You know, that sets up the possibility that we have the exact opposite happen that we're expecting. So Friday went the exact opposite way that we thought, but that does not change the trend of Bitcoin in general. So again, I remain bullish. I think we will hit a new all-time high by the end of the first quarter of 2022. So the previous all-time high was 69,000 on November 9th, I believe. I think we're going to start getting healthy, but we got to start by breaking out of this $52,000 line of resistance. So that is our number 1 short-term goal for the first few weeks in January. Okay, so having said that, I want to go through my top 3 positions. This list changes on a fairly regular basis. But finishing 2021 and going into 2022, these are my top 3 in order. So the first one is Bitfarms. So for those of you who watch the channel, you'll know that I've been talking about Bitfarms all year. I've been buying Bitfarms all year, hence it's my largest position. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do us a favor. If you're enjoying this content and you want to hear more about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners, please subscribe to the channel. It would help us a lot if you would smash the like button. If you want to leave a comment as to what your top 3 are or what you think about my top 3, I try to respond to a significant number of comments as well. Okay, so having said that, back to Bitfarms. For all of the miners that I'm looking at, I have a line of support that basically starts somewhere between September 29th and September 30th. That was the bottom of Bitcoin in September when we had a pretty rough bear stretch for about 3 weeks. All the Bitcoin miners bottomed out somewhere within those 1 or 2 days. Bitfarms was no different. So here we are with a strong line of support. Bitfarm actually popped below this line of support for a part of 1 day on December 20th. And that's the other date that you're going to see on all of my charts. Almost all the Bitcoin miners once again tested this line of support on December 20th, which was our recent low. So in the meantime, what seems to have happened on Bitfarms is it has found a short-term line of support here right at $5. So I have a blue line at $5 going back to December 23rd. On the 23rd, it was down at $5, and by the 27th, it had run up to $6, and now here we've tested $5 2 more times since then. So while this one is not testing its long-term line of support, it seems to have created a short-term line of support right here. So this is my number 1 position. I'm obviously very bullish on Bitfarms, and I believe this is set up at a good spot right now to have a good run in 2022. My second biggest position is now CleanSpark. This is doing something a little bit different than all of the other Bitcoin miners. So again, if we look, CleanSpark bottomed out just under $11 on September 30th. Most of the Bitcoin miners have respected this line of support. Some of them have popped 1% under it for a day here or there, but basically this has been a pretty solid line of support. CleanSpark has not. So CleanSpark is now about 12% below its line of support, which is much, much worse than all the other Bitcoin miners. So CleanSpark had a particularly bad week this last week. So I'm considering this a buying opportunity. However, I will play devil's advocate and give the counterpoint to this. From a charting technical standpoint, this is actually starting to look like a falling knife. Support did not hold up. We got to a new low here on December 29th. We took that low out, so we're setting lower lows. That is not encouraging at all. So when I look at this technically in the short term, it's possible there's more downward pressure, which is incredible for me to believe because CleanSpark at $9.52 just doesn't make any sense to me. A lot of the indicators are showing it's way oversold, but the trend is not our friend on CleanSpark right now. I will tell you, for me personally, if it continues to drop, I'm not going to buy every time it drops 1%, but if it drops another 5%, I'll probably continue to buy in. That's probably a strategy most people don't want to take. And again, none of this is financial advice. You guys have to decide which of these stocks works for you and at what entry point it makes sense for you. So for me, I have a very high level of conviction in CleanSpark, so as it goes down, I am adding to my position. I know all of the counterpoints on this. Retail investors are mad about a few things. Their recent conference call did not at all represent them putting their best foot forward. However, operationally, they continue to improve, so for me, I will continue to accumulate. Finally, my third largest position is actually a very small cap company. It's about 1/4 the size of CleanSpark from a market cap standpoint. It's about 1/10 the size of Bitfarms from a market cap standpoint. This is a smaller company. Having said that, I love what they're doing operationally. They had an incredible November. December's numbers should be even better, and they have a lot of plans in the first quarter of 2022, so I do think there's a bunch of upside coming on this. And again, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know that the stock is going to react that way, but in my mind, with all of these positive catalysts coming, and DigiHost being near its recent lows, $8 is its short-term high, and that's a 70% increase from where it sits right now. So that is massive upside. But in addition to that, it really should take out its recent high because operationally, they've already doubled in the last couple of months. They were very stagnant for the year in 2021, but in November and December, they doubled their hash rate, and they're going to do more than that in the first quarter of 2022. So I'm expecting some real movement in this one. Not financial advice. You guys got to make your own buying decision, but this was my second biggest position until CleanSpark tanked this week, and I continued to buy in, and that jumped into second place. So those are my top 3 positions. That does not mean necessarily that I think those are without a doubt the 3 best Bitcoin miners, because there are a lot of other miners that I'm invested in that I think have massive upside. This is where I happen to land at the end of the year. Going into 2022, those are my top 3 spots. I like where Bitcoin is at right now. If we go back to the Bitcoin chart, you'll see we're still drifting along and on pretty low volume. But I like the fact that we held this line yesterday. That was very, very important. So I expect to continue to trade inside of these lines of support and resistance. Support being at around 45,600 and resistance being at 52,000. Until we see a breakout to one way or the other, I think we're kind of stuck in the middle here. But I am expecting to see that breakout in the next couple of weeks at the latest. Those are my thoughts on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. And once again, Happy New Year to everyone. And if you haven't done so already, please smash the like button, leave a comment below, give us your thoughts. And thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.